I was also trying to protect Tony and Dorian from predators. They were young and pretty. We all were, but my reputation had followed me from the county jail and nobody fucked with me. I was programming, and there was this old guy. He was an old white convict in his 40s, in his early 40s. One of the things too is when you're in diagnostic and you're in 90-day observation, they let you keep your personal shoes. I don't know why, maybe because back then they would put your number in your boots, and since you weren't really staying and they didn't want to put a number in your boots for only 90 days, they have you wear your own personal shoes. Well, my personal shoes happened to be a pair of brown and white Stacy Adams, $100 pair of shoes, Superfly style. Anyway, I was always a smart dresser on the streets. So there was this old boy from Bakersfield, I believe, or Modesto, one of those two places, and he worked in the kitchen. He saw my shoes and called them fruiter boots, I said, "What the fuck are fruiter boots?" He said, "That's the kind of shoes that gays wear," and shit like that. So I said, "Hey motherfucker, don't be calling me no fruiter boots, man." So this dude would fuck with me, man. And every time I came through the chow line, he would be saying, "Hey fruiter boots." When I went through the chow hall, I'd tell him, "I told you stop calling me that, motherfucker." Anyway, he got busted for some shit he's got going on in the kitchen. Some pruno or something, and they took him to the hole. And so one day, I was going out in the yard. Now the guys in the hole, when you first go to the yard, you can talk to all the guys who are going out into the yard from your cell window in the hole. You could holler out and talk. Well, one of my partners came in and told me, "Hey man, I forgot this fool's name. That dude's talking shit about you, man. He's saying that you ratted him out. That's why he's in the hole." So I went out there to the sidewalk there as you go to the yard, and I was yelling at him, "Hey motherfucker, what the fuck are you saying?" He's yelling out, "You ratted me out." That's how they knew about my pruno. I said, "Motherfucker, you better shut your fucking mouth, you stupid motherfucker. You got yourself busted. I don't even know shit about you." He's like, "Fruiter boots, I'm gonna fucking kill you when I get out of here." I said, "Alright, it's on. You only did 10 days in the hole back then." I went back and I was thinking, I'm gonna deal with this dude. I'm gonna fuck him up when he comes out of there. But I got this 90-day observation. A couple of the older guys were saying, "Hey, fuck that dude. He's a piece of shit. Nobody gives a fuck about what that dude says." And I was like, "Nah, I don't know." And they're like, "Come on, you gotta do good. You got your 90-day observation." So I was like, fuck. I remember those words in my head from those convicts in the county jail, Motherfucker disrespects you, you fuck him up. So anyway, I went through the chow hall one day and he got out of the hole. And I was going through the chow hall and he's eating at one of the dining tables. Back then they gave you silverware. They actually gave you forks, spoons and shit. I was going through the line and he's talking shit. "Fucking fruiter boots, I'm gonna fucking kill you." So I was like, fuck this shit. So I walked through the line with my tray, and as I walked around to go sit down, he's a couple aisles over. I just fucking dropped my tray. I walked up on him and the boy stood up. Well, what he didn't know was I've got 2 forks. I've got them in my hand, so when I walked up on him, I just started stabbing the fuck out of him with these forks. The forks were bending. They weren't worth a shit, but the first fork I hit him with did stick in his neck and shoulder. He was running around with this fork flapping around in his neck, and the other one was all bent up in my hand from trying to stab the shit out of him. Anyway, so the police, what they would do when there was a situation like that, there's only one officer in the chow hall. So in a fight, he would go out of the chow hall, close the door, lock it, and wait for backup to get there. So anyway, I was beating the shit out of this dude. We're going over tables and the walls. He's trying to get away from me. He's screaming bloody murder, trying to get away from me. Finally, I got him. I cornered him. Everybody's getting out of the way, clearing tables and shit, because we're going right over them, under them, and through them. So I finally got this motherfucker cornered, and he's on the ground, curled up in a fetal position, and I was kicking the shit out of him. "Here, motherfucker, eat these fruiter boots." I was kicking him with my shoes. I wanted him to just say, okay, I'll never call you fruiter boots. You never ratted on me. And I lied. He said everything I wanted him to say. By the time the police got there, This guy was just a bloody mess. I was tired. I whipped him so bad I was tired. The fork was still hanging out of his fucking neck. The police were coming and saying, "Man, get that fucking fork out of your neck." Anyway, so the police came running inside there. I went to the hole. Great. There goes my 90-day recommendation. But this dude, the police did not like him. He was a convict. He was no 90-day observation. He was a regular prison sentence convict there. Somehow, they saw it all, and it worked out in my favor. Maybe it was God, I don't know. But I was the victim defending myself against this dude. That's how they wrote it up. I got a break. I eventually went back to court after 89 days on the 90-day observation. I had done what those old convicts told me to do. I remember after I had beaten this guy down, everybody treated me like I was great, dude. Like I was the greatest dude on the yard. You need some coffee? Need some tobacco? Anything you need? Oh, homie, I got more homies now. I earned my respect. It was all good. So I went back to court, and I was still thinking, man, this is going to show up there. I stayed there 89 days. 90 days was the longest you were supposed to stay there. I went back to court, back to the county jail, and now I was an experienced man because I've been around convicts, seen murder, beaten the shit out of this guy, stabbed the shit out of him with forks. I was a little bit more seasoned now. I got back to the county jail and they sent me to the Oakland County Jail, and everyone in there was in there for murder. Here I was for just armed robbery, and I was there on a 90-day observation return. That was a good experience too. Other than 2 white homosexuals and an old Portuguese convict, I was the only one in there that wasn't black. There was this one guy, a prison legend named Carnell Nolan. Big old black dude. He was like a gorilla. And these 2 white dudes, they were good sized white dudes, but they were his punks. He had knocked them out and fucked them. Now this is what Carnell Nolan was known for. You know, he would knock motherfuckers out and he would pull their shit down and fuck them right there. I'm serious. I'd seen it with my own eyes. The craziest way I saw it was that there was this old Portuguese convict who was there, and I had kind of kicked it with him, you know, because we're not black, and I just came back. I was hanging with him because he seemed to know the ropes and everyone seemed to respect him. This guy Carnell Nolan and he knew each other, and they had done time together, so I was thinking they're good friends. One day Carnell Nolan and he were arguing and Carnell knocked him out. This guy's ugly, a big fat ugly Portuguese. He knocked him out cold. Knocked him out, threw him on the fucking bed, the bunk, ripped his motherfucking jumpsuit down and dug up into his ass. He's just fucking away, and I was like, oh my god. The whole tank was seeing this shit. There ain't no cops around. I was like, wow, this motherfucker. All the shit I'd heard about is true. He's sick with it. We used to eat in the common area of the jail tank called the day room. We had metal trays and shit, and a big old metal mop bucket with a big metal ringer. And at the ends of the meals, we'd go take the trays up. The cops would come to get them. We'd have to rinse them off and then mop the day room, and then they would take the mop ringer and everything out. Well, I used to work out with martial arts all the time because I wanted to stay sharp, and also I wanted everybody to see I was a bull too, you know? The old joke about 2 bulls, the young bull and the old bull. Oh, here we go. And how they see this bull coming up, a big bad bull fucking all the cows, and he's just going from cow to cow, just fucking the shit out of each cow. All of a sudden, the young bull starts making all kinds of challenging noises. The older bull tells him, hey, knock it off, fool. That bull will fuck you up. What are you doing? The young bull says, I just want to make sure he knows I'm not a cow, that I'm a bull too. You know, so that's why I was over there working out all the time. I wanted this guy to know I was a bull too. Anyway, so one day I saw him. He's eyeing me. Oh God. I knew it's just a matter of time. This motherfucker's eyeing me. I was young, I was pretty, and I said, shit, this guy's gonna try to fuck me. Oh shit. So he would hang out in the day room and he would lean back against the bars with his 2 punks sitting there on the bench at his feet. He'd have one leg raised up on the table. So this one particular night, I volunteered to do the washing and the mopping, and everybody's all, hey man, cool. I told everybody, I'll go ahead and wash dishes, don't trip. I'll put them up there. I told the cops, hey, don't trip. I'll do the mopping and all the other shit. So ain't nobody tripping. Carnell Nolan's just standing there against the bars, just leaning back against the bars with his foot up on the table. I saw him watching TV and looking over at me, and I was saying, yeah, this guy's trying to make his move. So I started getting that mop and moving closer to him and mopping, getting closer to him with that big old mop. The mop wringer, that sucker had to weigh about 30 pounds. It was a big, heavy sucker, man. One of them old 1940 mop wringers, man. Anyway, so I was getting closer to him. He didn't notice. He tried to play cool like he's not watching me, but I knew he's been watching me. So now he turned to the TV. His full attention's on the TV. I was going to go wring the mop out. Now I was close enough. I lifted up that heavy ass mop wringer, and I remember what my daddy said the first time I had bully problems. Hit him between the eyes and hit him as hard as you can. Well, this big ass mop wringer was going to do the trick. I hit him upside his head, man. I wasted this dude. He just went kablam. And so I was just beating the shit out of him because he didn't want to get back up. All the blacks could have jumped in right there, but they didn't. Nobody liked this guy. Everybody was scared to death of this guy. So everybody just stayed out of it. Even his punks stayed out of it. So I was just braining this guy with this big ass mop wringer. Blood was everywhere. Brains, you know. Finally, I couldn't even swing no more. Now once I was sure this guy was not going to get up, I stopped. Because I didn't want this guy getting up, knocking me out, and pulling my shit down and fucking me. I stopped from a mixture of finally seeing that he's not moving no more and exhaustion. God, I was exhausted. So I went and rang my bell for the cops to come and get the mop wringer and shit like that. When the cops came, Carnell Nolan was a bloody mess, unconscious with his brains hanging out. They didn't know it. I said, come get him. Come get him out of here. I put the mop wringer back inside the mop bucket. There's blood all inside the mop bucket. So they just looked at me and they looked at him. They dragged his ass out. Emergency took him to the hospital. The cops didn't do shit to me. I was like, thank you. Another thing about Carnell Nolan was that he would beat the shit out of the cops too. He would knock a cop out in a minute. So they were happy. Everybody was happy. I was the hero now in the tank.